In the 19th century, I think particularly in the early part of the 19th century, or 1820s, 1830s, we have what's sometimes termed the Second Great Awakening. The Second Great Awakening has weaknesses, particularly on the westward parts of the awakening, where it's marked by greater excesses and you could say less long-term fruit. In time, we have the influences of Finneyism, but similar patterns taking place there, which are negative. But the eastward side of the Second Great Awakening in America, we see the Lord's blessing of the preaching of the Word through men like Archibald Alexander, Samuel Mellor, the early Princeton men, William Sprague in his volume Lectures on Revivals really beautifully narrates this and encourages and delights in this work of reviving that we see in various places, particularly in the East, also in the West, in the frontier areas of America, but I think with a greater depth and strength and fruitfulness in the East. It's interesting, in the Second Great Awakening on the westward side, there were some men who were involved in some of these gatherings. It's on the frontier, rough and rugged people. There's a lot of turbulence in frontier society and high levels of drunkenness, broken families. And as the men who are instrumental in the Western, you say, phase or side of the Second Great Awakening preach, there would be these huge gatherings, these tent meetings that will last sometimes for a week, and all kinds of people will come to these gatherings. James McCready, one of the Presbyterians who's involved in this, will later on be deeply grieved as he sees the excesses of an emotionalism that really is not God-centered, that is not rooted in the Word, and that in the long run does not bear fruit. Spin-offs of people moving into sects and cults, being open to false teaching. Even the revival gatherings themselves at times being marked by riotousness and debauchery, so much so that some of these men were so grieved by it, they just felt they couldn't continue to participate in these large public camp gatherings on the Western frontier. One of the marvelous fruits of the Second Great Awakening is the incredible reality of the 19th century missionary movement. As the Lord revives His church, whether Baptist churches, Presbyterian, Dutch Reformed, among the Calvinistic Methodists, Evangelical Anglicans, we see this stirring up of a whole generation of young men and women to sacrificially pack up and go to the ends of the earth. And much of the global reality of Christianity today has its roots in that time period, flowing out of the Second Great Awakening with the incredible, incredible work of the Lord through the 19th century missionary movement.